everybody wanted to schedule for their homecoming. They weren't good programs. All of a sudden, to come up. Was their first city championship. They went 9-0. 2015, 9-1. 2016, 8-2. 2017, which was a bittersweet year. 2017, you went 8-2 in the regular season, but did not make the state playoffs. And I think at that time the team probably was catching stride. 2018, 9-1. So the last 5 years, the Mustangs have actually been 43-6, but they are 3-4 in the playoffs. But last year, they did something that no Mervo team has ever done, and that was to make the semifinals of the 4A state playoffs. So, Coach, let's go back and let's talk about that run just a little bit.
Yeah, it was an amazing year for us. We kind of set a goal at the beginning of the year. We have a goal-setting ceremony at the beginning of every season, and one of our goals was, and always is to win the state championship. And it's a process to doing that. And I think we, as you kind of talked about, we kind of took baby steps. We won a couple city championships, and then for a while we had never won a playoff game before. And I forget what year it was, but we had a breakthrough and we were able to win our first state playoff game in school history. And then this past year, we took the next step of finally, being able to not only make it to the regional championship, but to actually win it. And I know a lot of people didn't believe we could do that, but through a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, the guys worked really hard in the off season. We were able to do that. So this year is going to be nothing like every other year. Our goal is going to be to win not only our local championships, but also to ultimately win the state championship.
All right. So 2016 was Mervo's first playoff win against Sherwood. It was one of those years that, again, nobody expected, Mervo to go out there and beat Sherwood, who was the number 1 seed. Being in 4A, now you guys have actually moved to 3A. So being in 4A, going 8-2, going 9-1 didn't necessarily mean that you were going to make the playoffs. It definitely didn't mean that you were going to have a home game. You guys have kind of been, road tested. How is it, actually playing on the road?
For being an athletic director, I actually love playing on the road because, when you're playing home, of course, I have to assume also those responsibilities of concession stands and ticket sales and crowd control and all that good stuff. So actually, I enjoy going on the road where I could just be a football coach. And I actually like to be an underdog. So when you walk into a stadium and you walk into Patterson and you walk into Edmondson and you walk into Dunbar and you're on the road and people are against you, it actually fuels me. So I personally enjoy, being on the road versus being at home. And even in the playoffs, like the same thing. I enjoy going to other people's communities and taking on that challenge.
All right, so you brought 2 players here with you. Let's introduce the 2 players to my left first.
My name Keelan Kimbrough. I play quarterback here at Mervo High School. I started varsity this past season, but I've been playing varsity for the past 3 years.
Okay. To my right.
Name Malik Lindsay. I'm a receiver, free safety. I'm just approaching for my senior year at Mervo High School.
All right, so let me start with Keelan first because you've been at Mervo. This is year 4. How have you seen the transition from coming in as your freshman year, playing JV, to right now probably being one of the best quarterbacks in Baltimore City?
Just being here at Mervo and with Coach Tavon and Coach Nixon and you, just the opportunities that I was afforded, just being able to play and being able to play varsity as a sophomore. I sat behind Carlos Davis. That was a great opportunity for myself. I sat, but I felt like I learned so much, and it prepared me so much for my junior year that it was just so valuable sitting behind Carlos and just learning the offense, learning the system, so that because on varsity everything's so much faster, and just that's one of the biggest things about playing quarterback, being adjusted to the speed of the game. So Coach Nixon, Coach Tavon, he sped my feet up, worked on my mechanics and just my understanding of the playbook, and it all paid off this past season. So my personal transition, I felt like I really came from my personal transition. I feel like I came from a low place playing quarterback because I grew so much because like my JV I really didn't get in at all, and to come and win a regional championship in this program, I didn't want to transfer, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to earn everything. Coach Nixon, he gave me the opportunity, and all I did was work, and I earned everything I got now.
Yep. Okay, Malik, man, you're new. So far in the last few months that you've been here at Mervo, what have you experienced as far as camaraderie and far as the program? What's different with the Mervo program compared to the school that you were at?
I mean, it's cool for real. It's cool to me. I respect the players, and can't really say a lot because I did just come, and they gave me a good opportunity. Now I just gotta show them what I can do and help the team.
Gotcha. So, Coach Nixon, now last year, earlier this year, National Signing Day, you had 9 kids that signed on National Signing Day. We've had a couple more kids that actually have signed and went on to college. I believe, what's that final number for you guys for that senior class?
It was 11.
Okay. So 11 guys that, went off and played college ball. And I think that's kind of big for parents who's looking at a program, kids is looking at a program. But how are you going to be able to kind of keep that same success rate up for 2019? Because these kids are definitely going to be looking and knocking down your door saying, hey, Coach, what schools are looking at me and what can I do?
Man, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's really what this whole offseason's been about, is just preparing our kids for the next level. I believe both these gentlemen that are standing up beside me are going to also be signing on the National Signing Day in that first Wednesday of February. So we're excited for the two of them. But that's really what the whole offseason is about. It's about preparing them for college. We're running around and going to camps. We're hitting the weight room and training. Coach Tavon was referenced earlier as the quarterback coach. He's also a strength and conditioning coach. Does a heck of a job of getting our kids' bodies prepared for the next level. So that's really what our whole offseason is about. Our kids have been going to summer school and just to to improve grades that they may have not done so well earlier in their careers. Like I said, we've just been doing the college tours and visits, just getting ready for college. I feel good about this year's crop of seniors as well.
Okay. So now again, we lost some key ball players. Your Corey Peterkin, your Terry Joneses. On offense, what are you doing or what have you done to replace those guys and those big hogs up front?
Man, we've had so many guys I'm so proud of. We just worked extremely hard. You're talking about guys, a lot of gentlemen that people have never heard of as far as on the football field. When you're talking about Nate Mercer and you're talking about Kalish Hicks. A lot of people already know about Tyree Williams. And then we had a couple young men who were fortunate enough to make a decision to want to come to Mervo, like Malik, who will help fill some of those holes. But the coaches have also worked extremely hard, too, as far as preparing our kids mentally and physically for the challenge of replacing our guys. You don't really replace a Terry Jones or a Corey Peterkin. You just kind of, everybody has to do a little bit of extra. Keelan's doing a little bit of extra. They kind of fill the gap.
So in the past, Mervo has been a program that pretty much had homegrown kids. Didn't have a lot of transfers. Didn't have a lot of kids that knocked on the door to come to Mervo. So everything was kind of homegrown. So a lot of your kids have been playing together for now going on 4 years, because it started with the JV program, who's pretty much had a good program for the last 7 to 8 years. Just being out there a little bit now, to look at some of those numbers that the JV has, it seems like, hey, Mervo is going to be okay for the next couple of years, but the guys is walking to Mervo right now, knocking down the door saying, hey, I want to come. How emotionally filled has that been for you and the coaching staff going into this season?
Just talking about this today, we had a freshman orientation for football today, and we just came here from there. We had about 40 to 50 kids that were present. It wasn't all of them, but I was just talking to the coaches about how proud I am of the caliber of kids that we're getting. It's not the numbers, but it's the caliber of kids that come in with the right mindset of wanting to work hard, wanting to go to college, wanting more for themselves. It's not easy being a Mustang, and I think at one point in time I thought we were getting a lot of numbers because everybody thinks it's easy to just show up and go out there and be under the lights, and we're just giving out uniforms. We've kind of set a tone and a culture that you have to work in order to get that helmet and that jersey. And I'm just amazed and proud of the quality of kid that is showing up, taking interest in wanting to work for that jersey and that uniform and wanting to go to college.
So we talked a little bit about Baltimore City football in general. I want to kind of get your take on that. Again, the Baltimore City League has been down, as the outsiders will say, for the last few years, but it's not a easy task when you look at that schedule and say, hey, I got to play Edmondson, then I got to come back and play Patterson, then I got to come right back and play Dunbar. That's murderer's row, pretty much right there. Douglas is not, an easy task. I saw digital this year. It's not easy. So when you start looking at those teams in Baltimore City, tell me how you're going to keep your kids up each and every week for those games.
Well, one of the biggest tasks that I think we're going to have, I think I have a relatively immature group because we're young. We did have about 23, 24 seniors last year. One of my biggest tasks is that I think our biggest competition is ourselves. We have to look ourselves in the mirror every day and try to be the best versions of ourselves each and every day, each and every week. I think if we can do that, I think that the wins and losses are going to take care of itself. And I think we have a lot of competition within the team. And if we continue to compete with one another again and try to be the best versions of ourselves, regardless of whether it's Edmondson or Patterson or Dunbar or a county school, we're going to put our best foot forward, and the result, we'll live with the results.
Okay. So week one, you have?
We have Dunbar week one.
Just another game. Thank you, Mervo, for coming out tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Malik, Keelan, man, wish you guys great season, man. Keep it going.
Get your teammates involved and make Baltimore and make Mervo proud for 2019. So again, thank you guys for coming out. Another episode of Change in Baltimore. We see you guys next week. Thank you.
S'mores.